Yeah, well, I'm really excited that you guys are all here. And despite the small group today, I will change absolutely nothing with the presentation. I will just get to pour more energy into you guys, your comments, your questions, your concerns. Um, I call this thing the Q Thor boot camp because Q Thor is coming, but I want to rant about something else because it's top of mind and it's important to me. And it's not Instagram, but we'll talk about that in a second too. Let me get off that so it's not distracting. So I should say I've been at this business for like, I don't know, 8 years, and it was in the art industry before that. And I've been running sessions like this essentially like 3 days a week since right around the time the pandemic started. So it's got to be 50,000 artists and photographers now over the course of that entire time. We have a little bit over 10,000 customers at Art Storefronts. I get to see all their data, not only on who's selling what prices, this, that, and the other, but also like where did their traffic come from that actually led to these sales. What I've come to realize in all of that is there's only three viable ways to make it today as an artist, photographer who wants to sell their creations. Only three. And let's talk about the three. And to give it some teeth, let's just say a successful art business. I know everyone's definition of that is a little bit different, right? But for the sake of argument, let's just say a successful art business is an art business in which you have gross sales of $100,000 a year, right? It sounds like a lofty number, fine, but let's just say that. So, okay, there's only three ways to get there. Number one way, the way that everyone on this call would prefer to do, get into a gallery where all you have to do is create and they do everything else. That sounds awesome, right? Okay, let's work those numbers through. You're in a gallery, and you're doing $100,000 a year in gross sales. The gallery takes 50%. So that means at the end of the day, you get $50,000 back. And because it's gross sales, then you have to subtract your studio, your materials, your trips, your tripods, your lenses, all of that, and maybe you're left with $35,000. Hardly a living wage. Let's make that picture a little bit rosier. And by the way, the number of artists that are in that situation that are selling $100,000 a year in a gallery is probably less than 1 or 2% of the total artists and photographers that are out there trying to sell their art and photography. Let's make that picture a little bit rosier and let's say $300,000. Okay, let's triple it in gross sales a year in a gallery. And with the aforementioned 50% haircut, 150, okay, you're making 100 grand a year. That's fantastic. That's less than 1%, probably less than 0.2% of artists and photographers out there. So in terms of like a viable path forward, the way that I like to explain making it in a gallery is to have that level of success that way as an artist or photographer is kind of like playing a sport versus being a professional athlete. How many people do you know play a sport? How many professional athletes do you know, right? Like the odds are just not fantastic. And the real death knell to the gallery model is you guys are all going to be artists and photographers for the rest of your life. I routinely get people on these calls in their 90s still trying to sell their art, which is amazing. And you realize it's the long game. Wherever you are, you have a ton of time left, right, to do this, God willing, of course. If you don't know who's purchasing your art and you can't market to them for the rest of your life, you don't have the ability to develop collectors. Collectors are folks that will come back and keep buying from you again and again and again, year after year after year. And it's the lifeblood of any art business. In the gallery model, you don't know because the gallery doesn't tell you who purchases. It's important to state that, important to understand that. All right, let's table the gallery model for a sec. Next is to become a road warrior. A road warrior is someone that does anywhere from 25 to 45 shows a year. The fairs, the shows, the farmers markets, the thises, the that's, and you are loading that car up, setting up the booth. Sometimes it's a dud, sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's inclement weather. You're away from your family, you're 8 hours a day on your feet. It is not easy, it's hard. That being said, totally viable path to get there. If I was an artist myself and I was like looking back at my life and I wanted to give my like 20-year-old self some advice, okay, Emma, talking to you, you're the young one here, it would be like, don't have wife, don't have a significant other, don't have kids, don't have a mortgage. And if you have any of those things, it's just a generalization. You're the young one and I'm looking at you. So go and do that when you're young. Because if you can do that when you're young, when you don't have the aforementioned significant other and kids and soccer games on Saturdays and a mortgage, that's when you're the freest to be able to do that. And it's totally a viable path. Like I've got multiple customers that are in their 50s and 60s that did it for years and years and years. One guy I think of, this guy, Bill Stidham, 175,000 miles on his van in 6 years that he just used for his art shows. I mean, he hit it hard. You know what that guy has now? Healthy six-figure-a-year business, and he barely does any shows anymore because he built up the list, he built up a customer base, he built up collectors. The third way, okay, is what everybody really, truly has to do. It's what you want to do, which is, I know I'm not going to get into a gallery. I know I'm not doing the show and Thayer circuit. That's just too much. I can't be that road warrior. So I want to sell direct. I want to understand who's purchasing my work, and it's totally a viable path. It's what we advocate. Here's the rub, though. You have to market your own art. You have to market your own art. There is no one that is going to market it for you. And for some people, that is a painful thing to hear. For most artists and photographers, it's a painful thing to hear, but it's true. Anyone that's been in this business for any period of time knows that you guys are all sold a bill of goods that somehow an artist or a photographer's vocation is just to create this amazing thing, and everything else just happens, and nothing could be further from the truth. You have to get good and understand that marketing yourself is just as important a job as creating what you create. And the sooner you come to terms with that, the way better your life becomes. Why? Because there's never been a better time in the history of the world to do it. Not even close. I mean, for those of us that are older and remember the days before these things existed, and before social networks with hundreds of millions of people worldwide were on their phones all day long, do you know how hard it was? Do you know how much harder it was? You were geographically fixed on the planet somewhere, and that's where you started, and that's what you had. You had to grind way harder. Now, if you take your marketing vocation seriously, if you're like, I'm going to get good at this, if you realize that your art business is essentially 2 trains on 2 tracks. Train number 1, your art, your craft, your creations, your subject matter material, your brush, your lens, how good you get with all of that. That train has its own path, and it will go throughout the rest of your career. You want to get better at it. You want to make sure that train has no brakes. The other one is how good you get at marketing yourself. And you need to treat it seriously, and you need to turn it into an art form. And if you understand those 2 things, that is the path that artists and photographers get on, will become successful, will have a business that is growing year after year after year. And I really firmly do believe there's never been a better time in the history of the world to do that. But it's actually simple. Simple, not easy. Not easy in the fact that you guys have to get good at marketing. Not good that you have to take it seriously. Not good that you have to learn how to do this. And nobody likes doing it. I totally get that, okay? I mean, I run the marketing department here. Truth be told, I don't even like doing it, okay? Posting on socials on a regular basis, content marketing, right? Running sales, all the things that you have to do. But I don't know what the alternative is. I don't know what the alternative is. Because of all the tens of thousands of artists and photographers that have come through these Zoom sessions in the last 3 years, there are maybe 1 or 2 that were doing great in the gallery. And I saw specifically, like right when COVID hit and all those gallery people got closed up, those people were flooding into these Zooms going, what do I do? I've got nothing. My income's done, right? It was terrifying. The road warriors are the road warriors. And then there's nothing else. You know, there's nothing else. Like, I've had like 6 people tell me they make more $10,000 a year on Saatchi, Fine Art America, Redbubble. I've had a couple of people on Etsy that are doing like $20,000 or $30,000 a year, but I haven't heard anyone else. So when you realize those odds, and please don't take it cynically, like this is only going to happen for you if you sign up at Art Storefronts. I don't care where you sign up or what you do, but I do care that if you want to take this business seriously and you want to see it growing year after year, it's the 2 trains, 2 tracks, no brakes. 2 trains, 2 tracks, no brakes. Okay. Now that rant is over with, I call this thing a Q4 boot camp, and I love the marathon analogy, all right? I hate running. I will never sign up for a marathon in my life. But I know some people that have, and there's one thing that you notice about those people that sign up for the marathon. As soon as you fill out that form for that miserable activity, your whole life changes. Why? You know the pain is coming. You start eating a little bit better. You start training and taking your exercising more seriously. You start getting better sleep. If it's me, you work on that drinking habit that you have, right? All of these things in your life, you start taking more seriously. And my contention, having been in this business for close to 10 years now, and having seen what goes on in Q4 the last 3 months of the year, it's a marathon that you're signed up for whether you know it or not. And the training that you do between now and then, between the 4th quarter, the buying season, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the roll up to Christmas, all of those sales that are in the water, all throughout that. More art, more photography is sold in the 4th quarter than the other 3 quarters combined almost sometimes. Like our customers that do it well have a good year based on what that 4th quarter is. And so my contention is that you're signed up for that marathon whether you know it or not. And the question is, what are you going to start doing between now and then? What are you going to start doing between now and then to get ready? Because if it's wait until things start getting colder. Kids are back at school. You're running around like a crazy person. Next thing you know, it's Thanksgiving. Oh, I got to have a sale. And then you post something on Facebook and send an email to 6 people. Not going to be good. Not going to be good, right? So we need to start training now, right? We need to start getting our businesses in order now. And there's a number of different ways that you can approach that and that you can contemplate it. But step one in all of it is have it in the back of your head. It's coming. What you do between now and then is going to dictate the level of success that you have, and it is the most important time of the year to be selling. Without question, not even close. And you have to have your art up on the website. You have to start working on an email list. You have to start marketing regularly and consistently on the social media platforms. If you do that now, you're gonna wake up come October and you're gonna be like, oh, got a little momentum in my back. Things actually look pretty good here. People actually know who I am, and I have the ability to market and run some sales when Black Friday and Cyber Monday comes along. So very, very important to understand that happens every single solitary year. Every year it is absolutely fantastic in terms of sales, in terms of art and photography. So all very, very important. Pricing is another big one. And pricing is one of my favorite topics in this business period, right? And do you know what I love more than anything else? All the bullshit advice that's out there based on pricing. Here's the formula that you use for pricing. It's material cost times square inch times media times your time. Yeah, okay, great. Thanks for that. Magic, really. The only thing that matters is whether or not the art sells. There is no magical formula that's going to help you price your art if the art doesn't sell, which is why all of those formulas are nonsense. Pricing is quite simply this. And it's awesome and it's freeing. And once you do it, and once you realize this lesson, and I have like a really in-depth article on this, and I'm going to send it to all of you. You, creative times, need to have prices from 0 to 100. You need to have prices from 100 to 1,000. You need to have prices over 1,000. And you need to have one thing in the shop that is obscenely expensive. Okay? And let me break that all down with some real numbers. The 0 to 100 is really, really easy, especially if you're reproducing your artwork in terms of prints. But you also have to have non-wall art as a part of your lineup, okay? It can't just be wall art. And the reason is that not everybody is ready to buy wall art all the time. And so you're out there, you're doing your marketing, you're getting your art, your photography in front of people, and they're like, wow, I really like this person. I really like their creativity. Problem, I'm not in the market for art right now. I want to reward this person for their talent, but I'm not in the market for art right now. If only they had something that was non-wall art related. Oh, they don't. Tell you what, I'll make a mental note to come back here. I'm going to go watch some cat videos, and you know what the masks do there, right? They're not coming back. They're never coming back. So the importance of having the non-wall art is so critical. No one talks about this enough. A business, specifically your guys' businesses, can be judged how well they are growing on one metric and one metric alone. The number of new customers you are acquiring per year. The number of new customers you are acquiring per year. Why? Why? Because the easiest customer to get is the one that you already have. It is significantly easier to get somebody to come back and purchase a second time than it is to go out and find a new person and have them purchase for the first time. And this is just a fundamental rule of most businesses, but specifically this business. And I alluded earlier to how important it is to not sell in galleries so that you know who is purchasing your work. There is a phenomenon in here. I stole it from this guy, so I always give him credit. Hold on, I'm going to grab his book. I stole this from Weiland, okay? Weiland is the whale guy. Most would say the best-selling artist in the United States. By the way, this book, fire! Okay, insane, amazing. You need to go buy it. Honestly, I should be on commission for this. In fact, he's got a gallery close to where I live. I'm going to go in there and get it. Short, sweet, no fluff. I'm sorry, here it is. But the rub is it's not on Amazon. I think he donates 100% of the proceeds to charity, so you have to buy it from his website. But honestly, Google this book and buy this book. Weiland defines a collector as someone that will purchase in upwards of 7+ pieces of art from him over the course of a lifetime. And this is a phenomenon I see played out continually with my own customer base. But when you have collectors, it's a phenomenon of this business, right? Like there's certain product categories that have collectors, right? If you ask my 7-year-old kid, it's those damn Pokemon cards. They're all over my floor right now. You guys would laugh if you saw these. But shoes, cars, wristwatches, art is one of them. And it's a fantastic thing because you will keep creating throughout the course of your life. And these collectors will just go along for the ride. You keep raising prices, they keep coming and buying and buying and buying. Oh, that's awesome. Emma just said that book is on Spotify for free. I did not know that. Definitely listen to it. You want to highlight it, though. I'm not kidding. Great book. Where was I going with all that? So if we know the most important thing an art business can have as a collector, and then we know in order for a collector to become a collector, they first have to purchase something, that underscores how important it is to have non-wall art as a part of the lineup, okay? That's the 0 to 100 range. Also in there, you obviously have small prints. And then let's say you're 100 to 1,000, you get into some bigger size prints, right? Your metals, your canvas, your acrylic, you go through that 0 to 1,000 range, and maybe close to the 1,000 range, you're in limited editions, and then above that, you have your originals. Everyone has to adjust it a little bit to taste. But you also need something obscenely expensive in the store. And let's say that you sell your originals, just to keep the math simple, at like $1,000. I want one in there for 10 grand. And why? Why one in there for 10 grand? That's crazy. I'm never going to sell that thing. I don't even care if you don't ever sell that thing. You ever been to a car dealership? And you know, in the car dealership, that the big glass box in the middle, I know the car dealership is a miserable feeling in most people's heads because you have to deal with the salespeople. But anyway, the big glass box in the middle, right? Let's say we're at the Toyota dealership. In that big glass box in the middle is the Toyota Supra carbon fiber TRD whatever. It's $275,000, right? There's a reason that they put those cars inside the glass box, and it's because human beings are wired to make purchase decisions based on comparison. We anchor onto certain things to compare to other certain things. And so when we go and look at that $250,000 Supra or the $150,000 Land Cruiser that's inside the glass box, we anchor onto that price point, and it makes us feel just that much better about buying the $60,000 Highlander, right? That's on the outside. And that's a phenomenon called price anchoring. And it's just one of these psychological things that's really, really, really important to do. You feel better knowing that I didn't buy the most expensive thing. It makes you feel a little bit better. That's why you put that high-priced item in there. Also, everyone's followers, yours, mine, any business, that all fall into a thing that I call the socioeconomic bell curve, okay? It's your typical bell curve, exactly what you'd expect. And down at the low end of it, you have the low socioeconomic status. Those people can't afford anything. They'll like, comment, share on your post. They're still good people. Then you have lower income folks, middle class, upper middle class, high net worth individuals, the bell curve, right? You know, what does everyone always say to me all the time? Yeah, I just want to target high net worth buyers. Yeah, good. That's great. You and every other business on the planet, aside from the 99-cent store, wants to target the high net worth buyers, okay? That is why it's insanely difficult to do that. But the point is, you need to have this range of pricing that I'm discussing to be able to cover all of the spots on that bell curve. Because what happens when you do that is you acquire the highest number of customers possible. And the beautiful thing about acquiring the highest number of customers possible is you can market to these folks in the future. The bell curve is not a fixed entity. Your buyers and potential buyers are going up and down that bell curve their entire lives. The one that's living in their mother's basement right now is buying their new house 2 years from now. And you got that sale. Do you want to know why you got that sale? Because you sold them a mug or a mouse pad or a calendar or a whatever, and it sat on their fridge. It could be a sticker, okay, that's on my garage fridge with all the rest of the stickers. And every time I go out to get a beer, which is an enjoyable experience for me, I look at your art, okay? Now I've moved out of my mother's basement, and I'm going to go buy a house, and you got that sale. And that's how it works. And I get a lot of pushback on the merch. Okay, I'm a fine artist, Patrick. I would never sell that merch, that cheap tchotchke crap. I'm not doing that. To which I respond, let me know the last time any of you went to a museum that didn't have a gift shop. I'll wait. Okay? If Van Gogh's Starry Night is on the wall, and you can also buy a Starry Night poster in the gift shop for $22 plus tax, I'm pretty sure Van Gogh's not losing any sleep over it. Technically, he's really asleep. He's dead. But you get the point, okay? You get the point. You ever been to a concert that hasn't had merch? I don't think so, okay? The Rolling Stones, take your pick, okay? Merch is very, very important in the simple lens that you acquire more customers as a result of it. So having that price range is huge. What is one of the most defeating things that happens to artists and photographers out there? You worked hours on a piece. I mean, hours. It took so much time. You're going to sell this thing for $800, and what happens? Someone's like, yeah, that's beautiful. Would you take $25 for it? Oh, oh, you're just deflated, right? Like this person is just, I mean, it's like a troll on social media. I mean, they have just ruined your entire day. The beautiful thing is, when you have the range of pricing, it doesn't happen as much. It almost doesn't happen at all. Because people understand, they have a context of where things are in your lineup. Oh, this is $100 and under. Oh, this is $100 to $1,000. Oh, this is over $1,000. Oh, that's the $5,000 piece. And what's more, when you get those folks who don't know any better, okay, most of them are not yet people, they just don't know any better. You can be like, oh, that's fantastic. I love that you have the interest. That one costs quite a bit more, but let me show you what is in your range. And then we gently guide them to where we are in our range. Do you know how much better that is for your self-esteem? Okay, let me tell you, significantly better. It is significantly better for your self-esteem. You are going to be a happier and better functioning member of society, okay? Your significant other is like, this is awesome. Why are you in such a good mood? It's because you have the range of pricing. Very, very important. That's pricing. I'm going to send you a follow-up article on it after this whole thing's over. In addition to the pricing, the next thing I want to talk about is Instagram. Most important social network for artists and photographers. It's not even close. Secondarily, it's Facebook. Okay, have to be working on both of them. Well, Patrick, what about TikTok, or what about Pinterest, or what about SEO? Yeah, what about shiny objects that are not going to move your business anywhere and are going to put you on the road to a hobby? All right, that's what all the rest are. I don't care what anyone else says, anyone's friends, anyone. No one is selling art on any of the rest of those things, okay? They are lying to you if they're saying they are. It's nonsense. I've looked at way too much data. Aside from onesies, twosies here with weird circumstances, the two most important places that you need to be are Instagram and secondarily Facebook. And thank God for that. Okay, don't talk to me about TikTok. I'll kick you right out of this Zoom. You are lying to yourself, okay? Stupid Chinese app, communist app that is just trying to flood you with an endorphin hit. You got 10,000 views. You didn't get 10,000 views. You got 100 views from people that are never going to buy your work, okay? So when we stay focused on the only two platforms that matter, to the detriment of wasting time on any of the rest of those ones, I don't care. Just stay out of there. Stay in my lane. Facebook and Instagram and Facebook. You will end up winning. And why is Instagram the most important? What do you guys create? You create visual creations. What is Instagram? A giant visual search engine. Imagine that. Lines up pretty nicely, right? The beautiful thing is that Instagram has become, over the years, evolved into the credit check for artists and photographers. What do I mean by that? I'm going to buy something. I saw something. My neighbor had something. It's really important for me to keep up with the Jones. I'm going to go look at what he got. And what am I doing? I'm going instantaneously to Amazon. I'm going to read the reviews. Was that thing good? Is there a better one? Maybe there's a better one. Maybe I can one-up this guy because I got to keep up with the Jones. Now, we check Amazon is a way of getting credit checks, like getting the reviews of what something is, right? So you could say Consumer Reports or some of the other sites too. For artists and photographers, it's like, hey, I just saw this. I'm at your friend's house. You sold some art to your friend. I saw that. That's a great piece. Who did that? Oh, yeah, it's my buddy. It's my cousin, Mark McClanahan over there. And you should check him out. You know what they're going to do? They're going to pull out Instagram, and they're going to look for you, and they're going to look at your profile, and are they going to say, is this an artist that's doing anything? Is this an artist that's putting out content regularly? Are they on the up and up? Do they have 2 followers or 2,000 followers, right? And it's very, very important to understand, one, that Instagram offers a credit check, okay? So fundamentally, it's important just for that matter. 2, secondarily, and I should also say, like, you know, the data in this industry is so utterly, totally, completely opaque, right? Like, there's so much nonsense out there, it's mind-boggling. But there's 2 outfits that report on the super high end of the art market. One's the Hiscox Group, it's an insurance entity out of London, and the other is Art Basel teams up with UBS Payne Weber, I think that's who it is. The 2 of them put out a report, and what they do is they survey every year all of the folks that are essentially buying $100,000 pieces and up. And every single solitary year, I've watched the results of those reports when it comes out, and every year it ticks up. Did you follow and or consume content from an artist on Instagram? Was Instagram influential in your buying decision? And in both cases, both of their surveys, like, those percentages are really pretty high. So it's significant in its ability to help you guys sell art. The top-end, high-end buyers are all there, okay? So that makes it very important as well. The beautiful thing about Instagram is you can reach a ton of buyers. The terrible thing about Instagram is you have to post frequently on it for years to really make a huge dent. So yeah, one, you got to get started. Two, you have to understand you're going to suffer in the short term because it's not easy, and you have to learn how to do it, and you have to learn how to enjoy it and get good at it. And we can talk about that in depth. I have a ton of teaching on Instagram. But the beautiful thing that exists currently on Instagram, and I love this. Okay, we're going to do a little social media history lesson. But Facebook emerged. Facebook pretty much became a monopoly. Okay, it was power was unchecked. Then a new rising competitor came along, and Facebook is like, we can't have any competition. It was Instagram. We're going to go buy those folks. So they bought them. Okay, great. Now Facebook's even more powerful. It's Facebook and Instagram. I'm streaming on their platform when I'm saying this, so I get banned. You guys will know why. Zuckerberg kicks my door, and you'll know why. So now they own these two platforms. So the playbook was, we are a monopoly. If any competitors come along, we're just going to buy them. Okay. Snapchat emerges. Snapchat starts taking all of these young kids away from Facebook and Instagram. They're like, all right, what does the playbook say to do in this situation? Let me see the playbook. Market says if we have a competitor, go and buy it. All right, somebody go and buy Snapchat. So they go and try and buy Snapchat. Snapchat says pound sand. Mark's like, okay, what does the playbook say now? We don't know. He goes, all right, we're just going to copy them verbatim. And so Snapchat had these things called stories that disappeared after 24 hours, and Facebook copied them verbatim. So, okay, now Snapchat peters out. I mean, who's using that? I don't know. Some kids, whatever. It's whatever. I don't want to talk about it. The next one came along. This time it was TikTok. And Mark Zuckerberg went right back to the playbook. He's like, okay, this is awesome. TikTok is starting to steal a bunch of our users. It's competition. What should I do? Let's go try and buy them. He goes and tries and buy them again. They tell him no. He said, my wife is Chinese. Let me buy you. They still said no. So the next thing they do is they're like, okay, what is the playbook saying next? Copy them verbatim. And so that's what they did. And by the way, the other social players were watching, and now YouTube watched, and they're like, okay, let's copy them verbatim. So what did TikTok have? These short form little videos that were 120 seconds or less and were very compelling cell phone style video size. They copied that feature verbatim and called it Instagram Reels. YouTube saw that, copied that feature verbatim, called it YouTube Shorts. I could cycle through the 3 views of those 3 different products, and you could almost not tell the difference. They even put the buttons in the same place as copycats. Anyway, why it was a brilliant thing, TikTok coming along, is it destroyed what has been up to that point in time the social contract. What is a social contract? What do I mean by that? Hey, art store friends, work really hard on my platforms, Facebook and Instagram, and post a bunch of content. When you do, people will follow you and become fans. After you earn those followers and those fans, some small portion of what you create will be shown to those followers and fans for free. Early on in the days, it was like 90%. Recently, it's like 2 to 5%. Tiny, almost nothing, right? So that is what the social contract was. TikTok, God bless them, despite the fact that I don't like the platform and think it's evil, has been still siphoning off users from Instagram at an alarming rate. It's all the younger kids and the people that are chasing likes that are not real and chasing views that are not real. It's a worthless platform. Anyway, so what they've done is they've torn up the social contract. So now, where we are is we're in a scenario where you can get onto Instagram and you can have 2 followers, your significant other and your mother, okay? She likes and comments on everything. God bless you. Thank you, Mom. You can create content in the form of an Instagram Reel. And an Instagram Reel can potentially, if it's good, be seen by hundreds, by thousands, by even millions. In which case, you organically marketing without leaving your house, showing off your creations, understanding the platform, can get free reach. It used to be you didn't get that. And it used to be you had to pay a ton of money in terms of Facebook and Instagram ads to get that attention. Now you can do that without leaving your house, and that's an incredible, incredible thing. So it represents a huge, huge opportunity. And so that's where we stand right now as it sits in 2023. I believe Instagram is the most amazing platform that exists. That can bring you guys buyers, bring you guys fans, bring you guys email addresses, and yes, sell your art with photography, but you have to get good at marketing it. You have to understand how to post. You have to work on your posting frequency, and you have to learn to love it. You have to learn to love it. So it's really, which does get easier in time after you start actually practicing it and doing it consistently. It's interesting because we've been at this Art Storefronts for coming up on 10 years now, and it's just been fighting the same problem the entire time. How can we get you guys marketing consistently? How can we get you actually enjoying it? Because I don't know what the alternative is. There's literally two ways to grow an art of photography business. One is go out and be a road warrior. Two, learn how to market and learn how to do it consistently. And it's just not something that most artists and most photographers ever want to do. And it's a constant battle. You know, even when folks sign up and become customers at Art Storefronts, like, then the whole thing just begins. A website has more or less become a commodity in today's day and age, which is sort of the dirty little secret of the whole entire thing. Everyone thinks, like, if I can just get a website, get my art up on a website, it'll be great. You know, fish are going to just jump in the boat, and it's just not the case, right? Like, until you develop a personal marketing practice to drive eyeballs, to drive traffic, to actually look at your art, your photography, it's not going to sell, it's not going to move. No one's seeing it, right? No one's seeing it. So remains the single solitary biggest battle. And I know it's not easy. I know no one likes it. I know no one wants to do it. But, you know, once you start getting some momentum, things definitely become easier and a lot more comfortable anyway. But we can get right into Q&A. You guys can ask any question about anything. Really, honestly, I mean it. Like, it can have anything to do with Art Storefronts, but if you just have a question about branding or pricing or niche selection or sizes or what your offering should look like or something you're struggling with, I would love to answer it, even if it has nothing to do with Art Storefronts. In addition to me, the corporate mouthpiece and shill, there is also an Art Storefronts customer on here. Her name is Andrea, and she can answer any questions that you have. So if you want to ask questions to her directly, you can do that too. And that's what we'll do. So how does it work? If you're one of the brave ones that has your camera on, thank you. You guys are awesome. If you have a question, you can just do the old school hand raise. I'll see that. But for everyone else, if you look at the bottom of your Zoom window, there's this little smiley face, and you can see it says reactions. And if you click that, there's a way that you can raise your hand, digitally speaking. That's helpful for me because it lets me know that, you know, you have a question. And then we can just go from there. So it usually takes one brave soul to kick us off, and then everyone feels comfortable asking questions. So do we have that brave soul today? Does anyone want to start us with the first question? Okay, Raylene, you've got enough questions. I'm just going to unmute you. Raylene's like, I didn't want to ask the first question. All right, so do you want to start with the dropshipping one? Because you were asking me that one first, right?
Sure, either one.
The other one, which is, do you
want either one?
Oh, either one, yeah. So the reason I don't want you doing that, okay, and I should rephrase her question. So her question is how she likes to currently do things. She likes to review and hand sign every piece of artwork before it goes out. Why I don't want you to do that is because it just incurs an extra amount of time and an extra expense because of the double shipping. And what I find is that we all sort of intuitively think that we're smarter than our customers, and we're not. We're not. I found like almost like exclusively, and this manifests itself in a number of different ways, but let me explain. Some of your customers could care less that the work is ever even signed, period. And if they can do that and incur a lower cost, I think that's really beneficial to them, i.e. there's no signature, right? Some are happy with the digital signature, meaning it gets printed right out of the print and does it. Some absolutely want that print hand signed, okay? But for the ones that want it hand signed, because you're gonna have to take the delivery of the order, gently unpack it, sign it, put it back in and ship it, they need to pay extra for that. They straight up need to pay extra for that. And so what the majority of my customers find is that by doing that and sort of like leaving it up to them on the choice, you get a lot of people that just don't care. And it's like, fine, if that's what they want, that's okay. Like, it's not the end of the world. And then the ones that do want it signed, you know, you justify them paying a little bit more, and that's totally okay. And that's totally all good. So that's kind of how I recommend folks do it. And then it also kind of, it gives you a little bit more price point variance because, you know, the hand signed is a little bit more special. So that's kind of like, you know, what I think about it anyway, how you should approach it. Okay, so you said, I definitely believe in Art Storefronts and want to jump in, but stretched so thin right now with so many things in my business. Realistically, how much time should I expect to need to spend in this final Q4 to get this launched and make it a solid effort? Great question. It sort of depends on what unique circumstances you come to the table with. Like, do you have a social following? Do you have an email list? Are people aware that you're a working artist and trying to sell your art? So that kind of comes into it. But I think, you know, as important as it is, and knowing that it comes up every single solitary year, and knowing that you're going to need to get better every single solitary year, whether you sign up or not, you can't let it go. You have to take it seriously, like way more so than at any other time, right? It's sort of like we're in the whale watching business, right? And the whales only come off of our island one season a year. Well, guess what? Everybody's working right then and there because we have to take the tourists out to go see the whales. They're not around the rest of the time, or we're running a summer resort. Maybe better. I don't know where I went with the whale watching. Oh, Wyland. That's right. Anyway, so you always need to take it seriously, no matter what. You need to take it seriously. Like, you always get into it what you put out, but it's just the force multipliers of what is in the water at that point in time just means you got to do it. Could you get started now, get up running in Q4 in time, and do significantly better than you would otherwise? Yeah, we're good at that, and we teach people how to do that, but it's a personal decision for you at the end of the day. I understand juggling a bunch of things and all the rest, How do you go about selling your art currently, just out of curiosity?
Well, that's kind of why I'm diving into this, because I have a section of my business that's pretty much like floating in dead water while I'm doing other sections. So I've got several streams. So it's like when I'm working on, blowing one boat out to sea, the other ones are kind of coming back in. So that's kind of where I'm a one-man band. So your energy can only really flow in one direction at a time. So in order to give it a solid go, I just realistically, not that I don't want to work hard, but want to know how many approximate hours a day or a week just to get this whole ball rolling should I budget for in my time?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I would say, number one, it's a little bit of a flawed premise because there's just no roadmap that works for everyone. Mm-hmm. Everyone is just so different, niche selection, audio. It's like such a multivariate equation. But table that for a second. Doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what you can give to it, that you give to it consistently 52 weeks a year, and don't ever stop. And no one ever does that, right? Everyone always quits. Everyone always treats their marketing like a New Year's resolution. You're going to the gym 4 days a week in January. March comes around, you haven't been once. Rinse and repeat, right? Like, that's the sort of unfortunate cycle that most artists and photographers go in. One thing you did say, though, that made me very happy is multiple streams of revenue, multiple income streams, because very, very important, very, very helpful to have that. But as I look at, sort of our evolution as a business and where we've gone from to, started out with the website. Okay, great. Now you don't have to deal with any of that. All the transactions happen. Then we added print on demand, and you don't ever have to deal with any of that. You get the order printed, shipped, everyone gets paid, boom, it goes off. You don't touch a thing. Okay, fantastic. All that website does, giving you that website, giving you the print on demand, gives you that time back because you need that time back, right? Then I fought for this for years, and we finally adopted it a year ago, but now we build the website for you, and we'll maintain the website for you, if you want to get on that plan. So now you're not learning HTML, CSS, you're not searching forums, you're not a webmaster. That is not a good use of your time, right? And it's just to give you the time back. And then our newest service, which we call Copilot, which we've added in, we're starting to do some of the marketing for our customers. We connect to your email service provider, we connect to Facebook, we connect to Instagram, we start posting on your behalf, we start running sales and doing things for you. And again, it's to give you time back. And 98% of artists are solopreneurs, and it's kind of like, okay, let's take it out of art for just a second. You're a chef and you want to have a restaurant, right? And if you're a chef, the number one thing you should be doing is cooking. Do you know what you shouldn't be doing? Answering the phone and taking reservations. You shouldn't be greeting diners when they come into the restaurant. You shouldn't be setting the table. You shouldn't be serving the food. And you shouldn't be cleaning up after the fact. Because if you do all of those things, your restaurant's only ever going to have a table or two. You can't physically do all of that. And that's one of the things that plagues artists from ever having to grow, having to wear all of those hats and be decent at it, which is really hard. It's hard enough to create the damn thing, let alone all the rest. So you should at least get a demo. Go and look at. Have you already done that?
I don't think so.
So the demo is our test drive the car. It's basically a Zoom session that goes like an hour. They show you all the plans, all the bells, all the behind the scenes, the whistles. You should do that before you make your decision. But I think, for folks like you that have multiple income streams, what we teach you in terms of marketing will directly apply to all the rest of those revenue silos. You'll start making more attention, getting a little bit better, being more intentional, knowing how to email, knowing how to omni-channel market, capturing more emails, all the sorts of things that helps all of them. So that's how I'd answer that.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. All right, Belinda, you had your hand up and you have a question, so I'm just going to unmute you too. Yep, Jaiko, I see you. Don't worry. I'll get you. I'll get you next. Are you there, Belinda? I don't know if she went away. She was asking a question about fraud. Fraud, everyone on this call has 99 problems. Fraud is not in the 99 problems. Fraud is like number 1,755,000. Like fraud is not an issue. It's not an issue with art in the slightest. So you don't have to worry about it. Everyone talks about it, and no one can even give me a story where someone lost like tens of thousands of dollars, right? Like it just doesn't happen. It's so hard to make it in this business it is that no one's out there stealing people's art and like, randomly duplicating it. You don't have to worry about it.
Okay, thank you.
One last thing, Belinda.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. One less thing to worry about. Okay, Jaiko, is it? You'll have to let me know if that's correct. And you'll need to unmute Jaiko. It's a mic icon, bottom left-hand corner. You just click the microphone. No, you don't have it yet. So if you click the microphone icon, and so if you see my Zoom window, it's in the bottom left-hand corner here. It just takes one click, and then that'll activate your mic for you. Got it.
Yeah. Now I can talk?
Yeah, now you can talk.
Yeah, okay. Was that you? I've taken a look at so many different members of the art storefront stores. I think it was you who said that the best way to divide the artist's time is to go by that 80/20 rule. And that really answered one of my puzzles in my own mind. That is, devote 80% to your own craft, and then 20% to marketing. So that was very helpful. Now I am struggling with this one thing. This morning, I saw Nick's email saying that he's offering free website building.
Yes.
And then he explained, no, he is not crazy and so on. What I am wondering is, did he mean that typically that those, for example, myself is a watercolor painting artist. So in my case, I want to follow the print on demand method.
Yes.
So when he offers a free website building, does he also include my kind of need that is set up?
It comes on 100% of plans. So all it's incumbent upon you to do is get us your images in a folder, tell us what the titles are, and we take care of all the rest.
Yeah. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Where are you from originally, Jaiko? I've never heard this name before. I like it.
Yeah, originally from that little country called today's South Korea.
Got it.
Yeah, so I grew up looking at some of the typical traditional Far East Asian style of painting. And then now, of course, coming here, the Western style. So in some pieces may reflect the fusing of the two.
I love it.
So somewhere I'm hoping that I'm developing some very unique, authentic style that would be helpful.
I love it. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. And on the 80/20.
Yeah.
So the 80/20 is called Pareto's law, right? And
yes.
Yeah. So
that word in.
Helpful. Yeah. So it's not so much. I don't use it in the context of spend 80% of your time creating the work and 20% creating the art. Although Nick has said that to a certain extent, I don't believe that you can get away with that balance perfectly until you've built up an audience, right? But again, I'm the marketing guy, right? We have some different opinions at the company, right? Like I want to see 50-50, and then once you get an audience, you can kind of shift. But where Pareto's law comes in very, very interestingly is in the notion of what is my niche, right? Because we have so many people that create like a number of different styles, and the prevailing wisdom, the conventional wisdom out there, like anytime an artist or a photographer sits down with one of their successful friends and they're like, I'm trying to make it, what should I do? The piece of advice is always, you need to find a niche, right? Well, how true is that? what I've found is it's not true at all. There are certain people that have the niche, and the niche works for them, and that's fantastic. And then there's certain people that sell a little smattering of everything, and it's not consistent. And what's really interesting about that is the way that you tell whether you have a niche or not is you market the work for a year, and then you go and see Pareto's law. If 80% of your income is coming from 20% of the art, chances are you have a niche. But if it doesn't, then you can just keep selling everything, because the artist is the brand just as much as the artwork, right? Like the artist in question is the brand just as much as the artwork. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, yeah. One quick question or request.
Sure.
You mentioned an artist ought to have some non-wall
Art, mandatory.
Arts.
Yeah.
Can you mention some of the good examples for watercolor painting artists?
Yeah, absolutely. I should mention that at the very top, before we even get into the individual, like what you could use, it's just maths, right? It's a simple maths equation that you have to have something that is non-wall art in your lineup. And the reason for that is the hardest thing to do is market. And if you go and get someone's attention and they're like, wow, I really like this artist, I really like their creativity, I want to reward them, but I'm just not in the market for wall art right now. I don't have the need for it right now. You have to be able to sell them something so you can start the relationship, right? Now, the technology that is POD, print on demand, has advanced to such an incredible level that there's now a myriad of items that you can sell without having to do minimums. You can order one, you could order 1,000. You don't have to hold inventory, right? And that's an incredible thing. And so on our end, we offer things like cell phone cases and mugs and tote bags and throw pillows and photo books. And I'm looking at some of this stuff as I'm talking about it. What else? Puzzles. We have a whole bunch of different stuff. Greeting cards, stickers,
cards too. Greeting cards.
Yep, cards too.
Greeting cards.
Yeah,
and calendars. You mentioned calendars.
Yeah, I love the calendars. The calendar. Like, I have some customers that sell like $60,000 or $70,000 a year in calendars. It's people think it's gone. It's not gone. But for me, like the most important takeaway, I have some customers that hand paint wooden spoons. Okay. And they hand paint wooden kitchen spoons, and they sell them as decor items. It doesn't matter to me what it is, as long as you have this ability to acquire customers for the first time at the sub $100 price point, where they can get in at a lower price point. You get the email address, then they get into your marketing machine. And the collector thing, you guys, is so real. It is so real. It is the base salary of an art business, and the collector thing is the long game. Like, you guys are going to be doing this for the rest of your lives. And so if you're acquiring a significantly higher number of new customers than someone else, some portion of those new customers are going to come back and purchase again. And if they didn't purchase, even if it was the mouse pad or a coffee mug or whatever the heck it is, the stats are that they're never coming back, that you lost them, that they're watching cat videos, right? So, yeah. So we have a bunch, and you can pick and choose the ones that work for you.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you. So I think that answers Shirley's question in terms of the merchandise. Mike, I got to answer yours. Pricing of your current Instagram site. I'm just going to unmute you because I don't totally understand this. All right. Oh, and I got to see this background. God, I love Japanese maples. I have 2 brand new Japanese maples that I literally just bought. Is it a Japanese maple, first of all? I think it is. Oh, yeah, it is. I mean, those trees are just phenomenal. You need to unmute, Michael. Mic icon, bottom left.
Okay. I guess I was wondering, it looks like Andrea answered part of my question already about utilizing the current Instagram sites we're having now. I just wondered whether or not there's going to be assistance with pricing of individual pieces, helping understand how to do that. All of us struggle. We all think it's worth more than it is sometimes, but we all like to know exactly how we would go about that, how we create those, those 100, 1,000, et cetera, within our current inventories.
Yeah, we teach you how to do it. And, it's funny, too, because I get, there's so many different people on the socials, trying to start businesses, coaching artists to do this, that, or the other. And I see so many of them that, offer a formula, dollar times square reach times material. It's like, what is that bullshit? The only thing that matters is whether or not the work sells. There's no stupid formula that gets you there. The intelligence of the whole thing, though, is when you have the range of pricing. Again, we are wired as human beings to make decisions on the basis of comparison, okay? On the basis of comparison. And so when you have the proper range set up from low to high, we're able to look as human beings and go, that's why that costs so much. Because you stepped them up all the way. Your merch is $100 and less. Your tiny paper prints are a little bit under $100. Your bigger paper prints, your canvas, your metal, your acrylic, as it goes up the size, steps you all the way up past $1,000. Let's say your limited edition start at $1,500. Okay, now I understand why an original is $2,500 or $5,000 or however you do it, right? And so when you have the range and you don't start with the emotion, honestly, it is the most freeing thing ever, because you're not stuck in that stupid analysis paralysis that everyone gets stuck in, right? And gets like paralyzed by, or you're terrified to raise your prices or anything like that. So it's actually way easier than you think.
Oh, that helps. Thank you.
Where did you take that photo?
Oh, that's not mine. That's Peter Lick, actually.
Look,
Yeah, it's Peter Lick. I have others in here, but
he's in a
that one's
Japanese garden.
that's actually in Portland. That was taken.
I've been to that garden. That Japanese garden is pretty awesome in Portland.
Yeah, it's about a 3-foot tree, actually. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I literally love him. Okay,
Thank you.
awesome. Thank you. All right, Giulietta, you're up next. Go ahead, Giulietta.
Hi, thank you, Patrick, for all this information. That was really, really good.
Oh, good.
I wanted to ask you if you could please summarize like the best practices, the things that you said for this fourth quarter, being like the time that we can sell the most.
Yeah. So, what most folks do, okay, is start too late so that you haven't let anyone know that you even exist or that you have art for sale, right? And let's just say that as a macro. And the other thing people don't understand is when to run a sale and how to run a sale, okay? And it's another one of those things that I sometimes get pushed back on. Running sales? I'm a fine artist. I'm not going to run sales. How could I ever run sales? Everyone runs sales. The only two brands that I'm aware of that don't run sales are Louis Vuitton and Tiffany's. And technically Louis Vuitton bought Tiffany's. And so it's only one brand, right? Like everyone does. So in the discounting that goes on in galleries is shocking in comparison to like what, small artists can do. So a properly executed sale and when to do it, it's really just this. You want to make as much noise between now and when you're going to run this sale. You need to be posting on the social sites regularly. Get your email list together, email these folks, let them know you exist, show them some of your new work, tell a story or two. And then we have our customers start like their Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales like literally a month ahead of Black Friday and Cyber Monday. That far ahead so that you can get your work into, the marketplace and potentially suck up some of those dollars being spent ahead of time. But you can tease a sale, you can announce a sale, you can let the sale go for a couple of days, end the sale, and even extend the sale, depending on how you do it correctly, right? But most people think like they just send one email and they post one thing on the socials. Like, absolutely not. Tease the sale. Hey guys, it's me, Giulietta, and I just want to let you know one of my biggest sales of the entire year is coming up. Look for an email from me on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody. Let's say you send something like that on Friday. On Monday, you announce the sale with an email. You then wait 24 hours and you send the exact same email again to everyone that didn't open it, okay? It's called sending to unopens. Then you make sure throughout the sale that all of your Facebook posts and your Instagram posts all dovetail with the message of the sale. And you have to be posting to all of the places on both platforms. You have to be making videos. You have to be doing image posts. You have to be doing stories, right? Everything that I've taught on Instagram. You were on that last Instagram one. You saw some of those things. All of that. And if you do that, you're in a great spot. You're going to get attention, right? And you're going to let people know that you exist and that it's out there and all of that stuff. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, great points. And then another question, like regarding like art fronts. Let's say people that join art fronts, like do you teach how to do all the back office
Oh, of course. All
actions
Yes.
as far as like, the mailing list, how to,
Yes.
automate? Okay, good.
All of it. All of it.
Great.
We teach all of
Good
it
to know.
all week long, week in, week out. I teach. I scream at my customers, harass sometimes, cudgel, bribe, give them the community, whatever it takes to try and keep them moving forward, because it's the hardest thing, right? It's literally the hardest thing. But we have, Julieta, we have Zoom sessions like this one, 5 and sometimes 6 days a week, sometimes multiple times a day, where we teach the thing. And then just like this, you can ask questions. If you need to get tech support, we have tech support rooms on Zoom. And so it's just basically like one giant never-ending college with some encouragement and humor occasionally thrown in for good measure. So that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Julieta.
My question.
See, you never know what it's going to be. I noticed this past weekend I sold more puzzles and calendars at art fairs compared to photos, right? Seeing the data is shocking. I also heard talks of this would be a good Xmas gift, right? Like, you know, you have to, if you want to be a business, you have to act like a business. Great comment, Coos. Thank you. But, you know, number of new customers acquired per year plus regular marketing plus number of years that you're at it is what size the business is going to grow to. There's just no shortcut to it whatsoever. That's how it goes. That's what you need to be doing. Who else, guys? Questions? I'm trying to go back through the chat. I think I got all of them. Did I? Yeah, I think I did. Yep, Reed, I got you.
50 to 60/40 because they have 100 different artists that they want to pick from. Go back on the show in their circuit. That's wonderful. That does not pay.
You're watching my videos while watching my videos, Reed. I will take that as a compliment.
No, but it's not going to be instantaneous, right?
So how does this work?
Really passionate about the business model.
You're gonna have to find that. Okay, good. Did you get it?
I think the minute you understand that, you're.
I'm sorry.
The audio is playing on your computer.
How do I
That's the
stop?
outer shell.
Yeah, I want to mute you while you find it. Did you find it? It's probably a browser tab that you have open, I would imagine.
Any photographer needs to understand the 3 ways to sell art and needs to be applying them in their business. Number 1.
This is actually the first time this has ever happened to me. It's kind of flattering on some level.
Everyone knows the best way to sell art. It's in person.
I'm not very mechanically
It
oriented.
always will.
Yeah, it's okay. So I'm gonna mute you so I don't have to hear it because I don't want to hear that blowhard anymore, and I have to. It's me. There's a bunch of tabs up at the top of your browser, and one of them will have like a little microphone that's playing. Let alone it probably has the Art Storefronts logo on it. I don't know if you're on a Mac or if you're on a PC, but you're on one of those things. Could you? And yes, Michael, we do. Of course we do. It's all we do all year long. As many new customers as possible. He still looks like he's trying to find it. Yeah, it's okay. Just raise your hand again, Reed, when you catch it. What you could do is completely close out your web browser. That would do it. In fact, why don't you do that? You can reopen it after the fact. Just completely shut the whole entire web browser down, and that will take care of it, I think. I'm going to unmute you again. So just click the mic icon again on Zoom. It's this guy right here, bottom left-hand corner. You got it before.
Talk about it.
Oh, boo, he's still there.
One-to-many fashion.
Are you on a Mac or a PC?
Mac.
Okay, quit Safari. Just quit Safari.
So
quit it, yeah.
Show.
So if you open up Safari and you do Apple Q, that'll make it go bye-bye.
He's trying to sell.
Okay.
He's streaming this to Instagram. He is streaming
Quit
this to
Safari.
Facebook. He's streaming it to YouTube.
It didn't do
He's
it.
holding the works up. He's talking about them. He can comments. They can.
I can't listen to myself. It's making me sick. This is absolutely hilarious, though. And don't worry, Reed. We are very good at technical support because those needs never go away. Trust me, those needs never, ever, ever go away. Yeah, you have to quit Safari. Or you have to close the tab on the browser. So get Zoom down, get Safari up, and okay, he's gonna work on it. While he's figuring that out, who else, guys? Questions, comments, concerns? Can be anything about anything. Where you at in the business? What you struggling with? Andrea, there's an Andrea below you. That's kind of an interesting background. She's just watching though. I don't feel like she has a question. She's just taking it all in. That's all good. Don't worry. Yeah, it's cool.
I have questions if nobody else wants to take your time, but
Yeah, go.
I can ask anytime. 2 questions.
Yeah.
When I'm at a market, how do I collect my buyer's information? Because if they pay by card, it doesn't show me their email address. Do I have them fill out paperwork?
Yeah,
or-
you just ask them when you handle the transaction. Just go, okay, what's your first name, last name? What's your email address?
Yeah.
And then you get the credit card. You'll find when you just make it nonchalant, no one ever says no. No one ever
Okay.
says no. They really don't.
Okay.
And then, you know, if they give you like a sketchy look, be like, trust me, I respect your inbox.
Okay.
Which is not something that I can say. Which is not something that I can say, honestly, obviously.
No, you can't.
No. It's not up to me. My team is out of control. Okay, question number 2.
So I've been talking a little bit to Omer about this. I'm thinking about merging my 2 Instagram feeds. I have my wedding one separate.
Mhm.
And it's a lot to manage the 2, and I'm
Yeah.
finding I'm just not. It's funny because you guys push me all the time to post on my art one.
Yeah.
So I post on that one like multiple times a day, and then the other one, because there's nobody pushing me, I don't.
Yeah.
So are they 2 different?
Are you still deriving income from the wedding business? Are you still doing wedding shoots?
Yeah.
How do they find you? Referrals, a little combination of everything.
Various ways. Like, it's been slow this year because I've just restarted. So mostly from in-person stuff.
Mostly from in-person stuff. Yeah, I would
Yeah,
merge them then.
great
I would merge them. If you don't feel like Instagram is a huge lead driver, then just merge them.
Right.
It's like trying to watch 2 children. No one wants to watch 2 children. I have 2 children. I don't want to watch 2 children. One is easier.
So how do I work the feed so that it doesn't like they just feel like very different audiences? So I don't know how to not irritate each of them when I'm flipping back and forth. Do I do the wedding stuff and then just throw it into stories and only have it in a story? highlight?
No. I would just run both of them on the one account and just say, this is me. I do both things. What's up? And I wouldn't even stress
Okay.
about it. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unapologetically.
Yeah.
Multi-talented.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
the only advice that would change that is if it was a major lead generation source for you, but it's not. So, you know,
It's not right
don't
now.
worry about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Merge them.
How? And there's not really any way to push people over. I can
No,
suggest it, but
no, you
chances are I'm
just
just going to lose those
you
followers.
just deactivate. I mean, how many followers do you have on the wedding one?
Like 500 something.
Yeah, you're over it. Just deactivate it. Just focus on the
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And don't be afraid to post your wedding stuff on that one either. You can do that all day long. All right, Reed, you don't. There's not quite the look of consternation on your face. I'm going to assume you got it, so I'm going to unmute you again. Oh, he's like, no. Yeah, there's no. I'm trying to think what's the easiest way. You opened up. It's one of 2 sources. Okay, you either have the Art Storefront's web page open in your browser, or you could be on YouTube and you could have that open. That would be the only 2 things that I would think. You keep working on it. You let me know if you figure it out. I'll wait. Don't worry. But who else, guys? While we're going, questions? Yeah, thanks for coming, Mike. We'll see you later. You guys are shy bunch today. What's up, Devin? What's up, Ryan? One of the 2 of you guys has to have a question. All right, Devin's gonna step up to the plate. I can't hear you yet. Oh, Devin. So you're unmuted, but it's not you. I hear you talking and you're unmuted, but it's not showing me any like levels on the thing, which tells me you either have the wrong mic chosen or something's out of whack on your end. Usually what I do in that situation, I can't tell if you're on your phone. I think you're on a computer, is there's a little up arrow, you know, to the right of the microphone. And what that does is that lets you choose which microphone, and you probably just have the wrong one selected. And normally that's what fixes that.
Is that it right there?
Yeah, you did it. Good work.
I think the only question that I had was like, do you guys have like different packages or anything like that whenever you join up the storefronts? Or
we do, we totally do, but we're also expensive, and we're expensive for a reason, because you know, all the other companies out there, you know, they'll give you a website and then they're like, okay, Devin, cool, here's your website, you build it, good luck, right? Like with us, after the website's up, your journey is just beginning. There is an army of people supporting you week in, week out for the rest of your art selling life, right?
Okay.
So we found if we don't have that, all our customers just cancel, because you're not creating successful customers, because the website is not enough, right?
Yeah, and I think in a lot of situations like that, where without any kind of direction, especially after you start, that's where a lot of people fail. That's where myself I failed, and that's the reason why I'm in this now, because I'm tired of stressing about it and being frustrated. You know what I mean?
For
So,
sure. For sure.
like investing in that is one of the things that I highly want to drive towards.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, you have to hustle and save early on. And we have a ton of people that are like, look, I'm just not ready to do it yet. One thing I will say is, do you listen to my podcast?
I don't.
Okay. We need to fix that immediately.
Yeah.
Everybody should be listening to this. I mean, I tell all of my customers to listen to it. It's good. And I give away all of our trade secrets. So it's called the Art Marketing Podcast with this ugly orange logo here. It's everywhere, wherever you get your podcast. You don't like podcast apps, but it's on YouTube too. So you can watch them on YouTube, but it's really, really good. There's some hardcore tactical stuff in there that you can start putting into practice, like literally yesterday, and it will help you start growing already.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, and I think that's one of the major things I wanted to know is the options that we have after that.
Yeah. What I would do is go and get a demo so you can see, you know what the plans are, you know what the prices are, and you can figure out, the game plan from there.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah. Makes sense. Oh, Reed, I'm sorry. Reed is just like, get me tech support in here immediately. Reed needs a teenage son to come running in right now and sort that thing out for him. Do you know we could do that, Reed? Here's what we're going to do. I want to see if I can pull this off. Unmute your mic again. I'm going to have you share your screen, and then I'm going to tell you. Just make sure there's no questionable material on your screen. Not that there would be, but, he's a doctor. He could have patient's records or something. So that wouldn't be cool. But if you want to unmute Reed, I'll help you get there. I'll be able to find it for you in 2 seconds. So just unmute again, and then you click the share screen icon in the bottom of Zoom. That'll let me see your screen, and I'll be able to point you right to where it is, if you want to do that. By the way, this is exactly the level of tech proficiency I want my doctor to have. I don't care if you know how to use a computer, as long as you are great at diagnosing what ails me and get me straightened out, right? All right, I think he's going to soldier on. Well, any others, guys? Okay, he's unmuted. All right, Reed, so now share. Jacko, I'll get you 1 sec. Share the screen. So at the bottom of the Zoom window, and I'll show you. Look at my screen, and you'll see it. There's this like little, hold on, get that back up. You see the little share screen icon?
Yeah.
Click that. Oh, wait a minute. I don't hear anything. You got it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you got it. We're good.
I'm a fine art collector, and I need to start selling the art that I'm not interested in anymore. It's all fine art. And I have been starting to do this on eBay because I purchased decent things on eBay. I get most of my things from Live Auctioneers, which has worldwide all the art auctions. I'm hopefully winning one tomorrow through it's called Doyle's in New York. And I just would like to sell.
Yeah, we're not the best solution for that. I would go right back to the site that you've been using and ask them to re-auction everything that you purchased. That's just the easiest way to do it. You could of course do eBay, but if you bought it from the auction site, I would go right back to the auction site and say, hey, auction this stuff off, right?
Well, there are items that I've had 20, 25 years, and I really don't remember specifically where I got them, so can't do that.
But I would get all of it photographed because you're going to need to be able to send them, but I would have definitely one auction site do it. Like it doesn't make sense for you to sign up with us and get a website and try to start marketing it because the collection's going to go away, then you're done. I would go right to an auctioneer, and if you bought accredited stuff, the auction site will often know what to has it appreciated, is it not appreciated, here's how it goes, we put it up for auction, and off it goes, right?
Okay, I'll talk to the one that I'm going to be bidding on tomorrow.
Yep. And by the way, you should run and hide now because now a whole bunch of artists know on here that you're buying art at auction. Everybody's going to be like, Reed, I want to talk to you. Reed, I want to talk to you.
These are very specific hand-drawn Paul Cadmus,
Mhm.
an example, Tom Finland, um, Miro.
Now you're buying now he's buying expensive pieces. Now they're
Yeah,
really
well-
now they're really gonna want to buy. Yeah.
Warhol. I'm just trying to think of some of this. Salvador Dali.
Yeah.
I have one I'm not selling. It's a Rembrandt.
You could contact Christie's with some of that stuff. So it's I would hire somebody on Craigslist to come to your house and photograph it all. So you have like a
I
form.
photographed it already.
Oh, yeah, for insurance purposes. So you already have the photograph. So good. Just go right back to the auctioneer and say, here's the collection. Which ones do you want? What are you thinking? And go like that. That's what I would do.
Okay. Good. Sounds a good idea. Thank you.
Thanks, Reed. There's actually a word for that. It's called DXS. I learned that a while back. DXS, the art collection. All right. Ryan Rosario, you're up. I was digging the screen background you had going on, Ryan.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm pretty much a mouth painter, and I've had no problems in getting followers. Like on Instagram right now, I got like 15K followers.
Nice.
But my situation has been the selling.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of news reports where I shared on Instagram as well and all my social medias where they came by and they show pretty much the struggle that I've gone through in my whole life story. But the selling situation has been a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
I don't have a website, which I tried to build a website on my own, and it was freaking impossible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was wondering, what do you guys do?
Yeah. So we build and host the website for you, so you don't need to do any of that. My guess is though, like, dude, if you're at 15K, do you ever do live broadcasts?
I do it every now and then, but
do you have any of the work printed out, or are you just showing it digitally?
I just show it digitally.
Yeah, you got to stop that. You got to stop that. Nobody's in the market for JPEGs. Okay, I want you to get it printed so you can hold something like this that is real and tangible, right? You can let people know, like, if I were you and I had 15K and I'm gonna send this to you because, dude, I love running live art shows. Okay, I pioneered running live art shows, I should say. Oh, actually, I know it's in the email after the fact, but I have. Where's that doggone guide? Quick start guide to live art shows. Is this it? Every time I search on here and try to find it. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, I'm gonna throw this in the chat. I'll email it to you.
I have done a couple of lives, but the majority of people out of the 15K followers, I'll only get probably like 30 people to actually join the live.
No, you got to be getting more than that. The 15K. Wow, that's true. That's true. Because I'm at like 60,000. Sometimes I only get 46. But the point is that if you had a couple of the pieces printed out and you could show what the pieces look like, and you could be like, I'm having a flash sale on these. If you want this thing on your wall, it costs such and such. Send me a DM here on Instagram. My guess is that you would start selling right away.
That's another problem too. My pricing. Sometimes I don't know how to price certain pieces, and I try to price them according to the hours that I put into it. But sometimes I feel like maybe I'm charging too much.
Yeah, that doesn't work. So I'm also like, the follow-up email on this is going to be my pricing guide. I want you to read it. Okay, it's detailed, in depth, and I want you to emulate what it says in the pricing guide. So in the email that I send you as soon as this is over, like it'll come in like an hour or so. There's an in-depth post on exactly how to price your art. Follow that, and you'll be doing great. You can't do the hour, number of hours into it. Like, that's nonsense. It doesn't work, right? But you can. Are you doing it all? Are you drawing it all digitally? You are, because it's digital.
No, not digitally. I paint it.
Oh, you do paint it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But you could show off the originals. But yes, I want you to read the pricing guide, and throw your Instagram handle in the chat so I can check it all out.
All right, I definitely will.
All right. Thanks, Ryan.
All right.
Okay. I feel like that was a good session today. Oh yeah, Jaiku, I forgot of you. Come on back. Go ahead and unmute again.
Okay, I am unmuted.
Yep.
Yeah, Patrick, the I am on the technically weak weak side.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I heard some kind of a confirmation here that I feel good about. Namely, once this free website offer that I mentioned earlier
Mhm.
is done,
Mhm.
then I don't have to worry about some extra cost of getting help. For example,
No,
getting
no,
the next batch of
no, never,
digital
never, never,
image
never, never,
loaded
never,
up,
never.
anything.
But,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
okay, but there's a big but.
Mhm.
You are still going to have to learn how to market yourself. We are going to
Oh,
teach
yeah.
you. It is going to
Yeah.
be painful at first, and you are going to have to learn some new tricks, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
knowing that ahead of time and how much support there is and how much documentation there is, like, you know, almost all of my customers, in all honesty, like, struggle technically, especially for the first couple of years, because that's just how it goes. You're learning new skill sets, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're there every step of the way, you know, to help you.
Yeah, I know the first in the beginning, the learning curve would be quite steep. So I'm willing to take that in and yeah, buckle down and learn. So that's
Awesome.
as long as there's a bunch of good teachers, a patient, and so on.
Yes.
Yeah, I am in. Yeah, okay. And then just another following up on this. Nick said he's offering five opportunities, and so on. If I act on it, you know, sign up for it, say tomorrow morning, first thing.
Yeah,
would
you'll
that
you'll be
will
fine.
be, yeah. Please tell him that Jay Koo asked you extensively. So,
Yeah,
on that,
if you run into any issues, I'll make sure you're taken care of.
yeah.
Just email
All
me.
right, appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jaku. And by the way, Ryan, I heard I'm a mouth painter, and I'm like, oh, that's new. This dude paints people's mouths. I guess that's a thing. I didn't know that was a thing. No, he's talking. He is a mouth painter, i.e., the brush is in his mouth when he's doing the painting. That is the first time I've ever heard of anything like that. That's crazy, man. Oh, I see. So it had to have been driven by the fact you can't paint with your hands, right? Is that how you got it? Yeah. I was like, mouth painter. I was like, oh, this dude's painting mouths. All right. You know, cool. But yeah, very, very cool. Which means you have a crazy, crazy story, right? That goes along with it. Oh, you're painting the kids' kicks too. I like it. It's a fun thing to do, paint the shoes. I feel like that's by the way, non-wall art. Although usually the shoes, you know, are going to cost more than $100, so that doesn't technically qualify. But yes, very, very cool stuff. Oh, look at those things, huh? Wow. It is very cool looking. And the fact that I now know that you did that completely with the brush in your mouth is even crazier. Very, very cool. Yeah, it can't be easy. It can't be easy to do. Oh, good. I like that you're populating the stories. We got to get your story highlight reels. You know, your story highlights rather dialed up a little bit, but that's one step at a time. Man, I cannot believe that you can do that kind of detail with just your mouth. That is just crazy. The samurai. Yeah, very, very cool. Definitely check out my article on pricing. It will help. And obviously, if you can't hold these things up, you're going to have to get someone to help you on the live broadcast. But I think once you tell your story, I mean, that's just crazy. So you're like as dexterous as anyone else. I mean, that is spooky, but very cool. Very cool. Definitely read the pricing guide. That'll help. Okay, guys, I'm going to send you all a follow-up email with all of the resources, the this, that's, and the others. I want you honestly all to subscribe to the podcast. It's really, really good. Anywhere. It's just called the Art Marketing Podcast, that orange one. I release an episode a week on that, and I go hardcore in depth on tactical things that like can help. And the last couple on Instagram were really, really good. So on that note, I appreciate you all. All have a wonderful rest of your week, and thanks for spending some time with me today. And thanks, Andrea. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys later.